beasts!
Okay, but we'll wear some slightly different clothing, although probably not necessary for now. We'll go in.
So they keep these refugees under a bridge like proverbial trolls. No wonder the people outside are so disturbed.
What's this little
Who the hell are you? How did you get in here?
Mr. Ronald Harlow let me in, sir. I'm Sherlock Holmes, a surveyor of refugee affairs with City Hall. You're Inspector Tewkesbury, I presume?
A surveyor? What does that even mean?
In short, I've been sent to conduct an extensive report on the incident for the Colonial Office and to assess all the damage inflicted on state property.
Got it. Another paperworm sent to count money and get food for archive mold. Go on, look around, but don't make yourself too at home. As if I didn't have enough problems before you appeared.
Could you first tell me what happened here?
What happened? People from the bridge above the camp heard a woman screaming and saw a mass of refugees attacking a man. Clearly not a refugee. When the camp guards came by, the man was floating in the sewage canal with a knife in his chest. Bam. A murder. Big news for Cordona.
I'm sure. Thank you, Inspector.
Any bets taken on the man being the Satan that we're currently looking for? All of our suspects just keep dying one by one. Let's start with that.
And none of the refugees were harmed?
One fellow was cut. He's lying over there near their kitchen. He's in a bad way.
You mentioned a woman screaming who attracted the bypassers on the bridge. Was she harmed?
No, she's all right, but perhaps the whole debacle started because of her. She started wailing and the refugees stood up for the girl.
And where is this young woman now?
Back there in the shacks, same as the rest of the refugees. She's been questioned by my men, but she's just some refugee girl. Can't understand much English.
Did you learn anything about the dead man?
The fellow looks like a thug. I've had dozens like him fished out of the sea over the past 20 years. Ever since these refugees arrived, there have been people on Cordona with bad blood in them. My best bet is that this thug had something against them too.
And no clue as to his identity?
He had some items on his body, but nothing to indicate who he was or where he was from.
I think I should catalogue his possessions in my records.
Go on. They're on the table near the body.
Do you have any suspects yet?
You're joking, right? I've got a whole camp full of suspects. And if you ask me, this bloke had it coming. Better bury him and forget about the whole thing. And now there's a crowd gathered at the camp, and my superiors say we must thoroughly interrogate the refugees. At least those who can understand any English.
Do you believe that your superiors wish to get rid of the refugees?
I think that both our superiors would rather keep the story quiet. Since that's an unaffordable luxury now, they're looking how to protect their public image. That's why I have to waste my time waiting for my people to turn every stone and befriend every refugee.
Okay.
Here we go again. Number of hours on Cordona before stumbling upon another dead body? 0.
Yep, indeed. Debris under fingernails.
Coal dust under the nails. I don't see much coal around here.
Who would have thought?
An interesting tattoo. Does it mean something?
Ooh, that's a pretty knife.
A steel dirk. Sharp. A common accessory among sailors and soldiers. I'd say the blade penetrated upward, however the wound is too messy to be certain.
Nothing down here. Yes.
Heavy boots, with one sole far more worn than the other. This man was limping, John.
What a surprise.
A violent death. But this man, limping. Coal dust. I think we're onto something here, John.
If they find out about the passage, everything will go to hell.
Find out what the passage is for. Camp lockdown. Jackson office. Hysteria. Money? Take refugees out. No. Old sleuth, I don't know what that means. Not that either. Okay. I'd like to...
If they find out
Sherry,
about
just
this,
look at this.
everything will go
Living.
Alright. Jackson office, I don't know what that means. Wait, not that. Take refugees out. Not that, we know that. Not that. Money. Hysteria? No. Camp lockdown? Yes. Okay. Police officers are worried that the situation with the dead body will put the camp into strict lockdown and they will lose the money flow they were earning from their scheme.
Nobody will know anything if you keep your bloody mouth shut.
The coppers smell fishy here, Sherry. Perhaps we should sniff around in the camp a little more thoroughly.
We should. For sure. That isn't a bit interesting here in particular.
We have seen some dark places in Cordona, but this...
Honestly, I think it weirdly looks kinda nice here. As always when I say these things, not to live in, but to like chill out here for a few hours when visiting, I'd be down. This his possessions, probably.
£1,000. A fair sum, especially considering British currency isn't very common in Cordona. Malpal, soaked with salt water.
What's that? Fan?
A simple leather sheath.
Oh, leather sheet.
Perfect for a dirk.
So he was killed by his own weapon. There's a lot of things on the ground here. Footprints.
A furrow in the ground.
Might
A blood
be-
trail leading to or from the canal. Clearly a left handprint here.
Yeah. Wait. That's number 3.
Someone bled profusely here. A fresh crack, as if the crate was hit recently.
Says no
Police boots. Always happy to trample it. A man's footprint. A heavy boot with a worn-out sole.
Okay. For that though. Anything in here? You seen her?
Do you know anything
by
about this?
chance?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
Okay, good. There's nothing in particular back there.
Oh, carnelian agate beads, a traditional African adornment. The cut is deep, potentially serious if not treated immediately. He is in shock, feverish and dehydrated.
Sherry, you know first aid. Surely you have a duty to help this man. You can't leave him to certain death.
Yeah, but how, John?
The blood sprayed off the blade after the strike. No hint of blood or impact. It might have been used as an improvised weapon.
More
Someone was
footprints.
dragged against their will. You know what? I'd like to understand.
What?
How did our dead man end up inside the camp in the first place?
The refugees have been detained and will not leave until all the circumstances are clarified.
That's fine, but let me through.
Back off.
I mean, it does look possible to climb down from there.
No one deserves to end up in a place like this.
May I ask you something?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
Is there anything we haven't yet seen? We could also come down through the canal, I assume. That would be possible. There isn't really anything else that I can investigate immediately. Can I not talk to you?
You still
Okay.
here?
Provide evidence.
I've already told you all I've learned. I've already told you all I've learned.
We'll just go through
I've
everything.
already told you all I've learned. I've already told you all I've learned. Your problem, not mine. I've already told you all I've learned. Your problem, not mine.
The guards at the sewers were speaking about taking refugees out of the camp. Do you know anything about this, Inspector?
Less than you do, obviously.
And this doesn't bother you as an officer of the law?
I can neither punish them nor put them on the right track, if that's what you're asking. Maybe your friends at City Hall could do something about it, but I seriously doubt that. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of being frowned on for my uniform. If those fine gentlemen you've eavesdropped on are in some shady business, that's on their heads. I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? City Hall lubberheads.
Okay, so that was the only thing we could ask him about. Anything interesting? Something to clean the wound, something to disinfect it, and something to use as a bandage. How did the intruder get into the camp? Okay, what's going on in the refugee camp? Got a lot of officers
May I
to
ask you something?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
May I ask you something?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
I'm
This
sure
isn't
you
working.
do have the answer.
You might need a different tack.
Help me, please.
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
Okay. I mean, he's the only one who's slightly different in here.
I'm busy. Don't you have
I
papers
can't
to
talk
fill?
to him.
City Hall lubberheads.
I hope I'm not making a grave mistake in trusting you, Mr. Holmes.
Oh, what's that?
Roadman cigarettes. A brand highly regarded by law enforcement officers.
Another one of these.
A single Malpal butt. So there wasn't any sophisticated infiltration plan. The good old police just let the man into the camp. Now we have
Brilliant.
everything we need to get the full picture of what happened at the camp.
Do we? Yes, we do, apparently. But that's a lot of points. Okay, dropped into here. So the whole thing started over there, then. Yes, is there something more? No, then it's clearly this. Wait, what's the difference between these two? Oh, right. In one he's dragging the woman, in the other he isn't. Good. Yeah. I mean, that's just you go through one version of events. Okay. Yep. Now, somewhere along the line, he gets stabbed. Oh, yeah, he falls over here and stabs himself. That's it.
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
That?
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
Hmm. I mean, that can't be it because he was stabbed by the knife. So this has to be it. This is right. Oh yeah, he's already stabbed by this point. Yeah, this is fine.
So, we have a thug who came to take a refugee woman with him. She resisted, but he dragged her by force. One of the refugees stood in his way, armed with a stick, yet he could do nothing against a cutthroat with a blade. The man didn't anticipate that the other refugees would intervene and stand against him. In the confusion, the woman managed to break free. The thug took fright and fled. He was stopped by the falling crates. He stumbled and fell, piercing his chest with his own blade. However, the wound didn't cause instant death. He managed to stand, but still bleeding, he lost his balance on the bridge and fell. Before all of this, the man had freely entered the camp through the main entrance. The police admitted him after they had a short smoke together.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. In our man's case, it's the same sword.
Definitely is, yeah. Okay. Failed kidnapping.
You still here?
Absolutely.
Inspector, I believe I can aid your investigation. I know who the dead man is and what really happened here.
You do? Well, good for you. But I'm afraid I'm not the one you need to share your findings with. Speak to Mr. Harlow here. He's the one responsible for settling things in the camp.
You don't even care to listen?
Oh, I do care. And maybe even more than I need to. But I'm only here today to lock the place up, question witnesses, and file the facts. It's sad, but coming up with conclusions is not among my tasks here. You fellows at City Hall do that. Anyway, speak to the supervisor. I'll just stand by and listen to what you have to say.
Mr.
Okay.
Harlow, your refugees didn't murder anyone.
What? Pray tell me what you've learned.
All right, listen carefully. This might solve one problem for you, but will create a few more.
Oh, well, that's a great start.
The man came to the camp intending to kidnap one of your refugees, a woman. What he didn't expect was that the refugees would stand up to protect the woman. A brawl had broken out. In the chaos of it, the man stumbled over those crates and fell on his own blade.
How do you know he fell on his own blade?
The wound in his chest was inflicted from an unusual angle. It was not an offensive stab, shall we say. The refugees didn't touch him. And judging by the blood at the scene, the intruder managed to raise himself but was unable to walk very far. He ultimately fell into the canal.
But how did he sneak into the camp? Why didn't the police see him?
And this is where your new problems emerge, Mr. Harlow.
What do you mean?
You're not a dull-witted man. You know what I mean. There is no feasible way to get into the camp without the police guards knowing of it.
The pile of mess I had to sort out has just become bigger, but somehow that doesn't surprise me. Anyway, I thank you for your help, Mr. Holmes. I'll take it from here. Meanwhile, I'll make sure the police aren't detaining the refugees any longer. You can go back in and look for your witness.
You think one small
Will
clock
do.
can make any difference in this place?
Who knows, John? Just one ill-fitting cog could make the whole machine crumble.
Alright, there's the witnesses now. We should maybe dress more to their attire. Still the police officers back there? Yeah, probably.
Are you able to help me?
Sorry. We don't see much here.
That's not really what I meant to do. Could do that first.
Are you able to help me?
They often take us from the camp to work. Most don't mind, though. It's the only way to get a glimpse of freedom.
According to the refugees, some shady people regularly visit the camp and take refugees away with them to perform various work. The work is usually hard, but the refugees receive money and food. The girl was abused after she was supposedly taken to such work. Since then, the refugees decided not to allow their women to be taken.
So there's a smuggling ring in the camp. This wasn't the first time that someone freely entered the camp to take a refugee out.
At least it was certainly his last time. My gut tells me that we'll learn more about this ring when we find out where the thug came from.
Yeah, quite possible. Now that we're here, is there any sort of... Because I would ideally... I don't think this is gonna do anything, but...
Help me, please.
Sorry, we don't see much here.
Okay, that's fine. Just thinking maybe we could... Maybe if I pin that, maybe there's something to find. Oh, what is this? Boiled water, clean.
I'll use it to create a solution.
Fair enough. What else do we need? Something to disinfect it and something to use as a bandage. Aloe vera. Yep.
I can use this to stop the infection from spreading. Nausea and stomach pain is not what he needs now.
Okay. Not the ivy. Here's our bandaging material.
Just washed. Better than nothing to bandage the wound.
Presumably clean. Alright, we've got what we need.
I've plated all the ingredients.
aloe
Now to
vera.
prepare the first aid solution.
Oh, we need to prepare it as well. Yes. Alright, that looks simple enough. Okay. Okay, looks simple enough. We'll take this, this, and this, and we'll adjust all of them slightly by reducing these two and inverting this one. And then we just add them together. Wait. Yes, yeah, that is right. Nice. And then we'll help him not die.
Thank you.
This should make you feel better, my friend. Now remain lying down and drink as much water as you can.
Well done, Sherry. At least he won't die from the infection.
Alright, nice. So, now we're down to just that.
You're the one who tended to our man's wounds. I thank you greatly. The police didn't allow us to help him.
The police will leave you alone now. I've proven to them that the man who came into the camp died due to his own foolishness.
Thank you for standing up for us. But nobody would help us without a reason. You're here because you want something.
Yes, I do. I need to speak with the girl drawn here.
The dead man came for her too. He wanted to take the girl away, but we won't allow her to be hurt again. What do you want from Nayla?
Nayla. She was hurt some time ago. I'm here to find the people who did this and bring them to justice. And to find them, I need Nayla's help. Will you let me speak to her?
Justice. There's no justice on this land. But you helped us, so maybe your words are not empty. You can speak to Nayla, if she wants it. But I will be watching you.
Hello, Nayla? My name is Sherlock. I know someone hurt you. I am here to help. I'm trying to find the people involved and bring them to justice. Please. There is a photograph, and I'm sorry, it is terrible, but I simply must ask. Where did this happen? What can you tell me about these people? Christ, Sherlock. Naylor, I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
You come here for me, but you are rude and cruel and condescending. A cross. The man had this cross. Now go away. Leave us be. I do not need another white man's help.
Oh, glad that wasn't me.
Not my best work, John, by a long shot. Naylor doesn't want us meddling. I'm starting to wonder what this all achieves.
But she helped you anyway. Now we know that maniac's face and the cross he wore, we can still catch him.
Okay. The man found dead inside the refugee camp had a distinctive tattoo on his neck, yeah. Okay. The filer had a peculiar cross. Okay, that. Yep, makes sense. That also makes sense. The Thug also visited Vogel's gallery. The dead man from the refugee camp was the same person who had broken into Vogel's gallery. Badges such as these are usually awarded to high-ranking officials. The defiler from the photograph might be one. And the Thug came to the camp intending to kidnap a woman. He had the opportunity to kill her, but that wasn't his goal. He's not merely a thief, but also a kidnapper. A henchman who takes on various roles. Okay, and that unlocked something new in the casebook. At Mercurius Place, yeah. Okay. So now we can look into the Cordona Chronicle. Pretty sure. Not 100% sure, but pretty sure. Oh yeah, God, I need to get out of here to be able to teleport. I think.
I owe you a lot, Mr. Holmes.
No worries. Did they just appear once I turned around? They weren't there before.
Murder! Beasts!
Okay, either way, I can travel now. There. It always takes me a second to register where I'm supposed to be looking. To get my bearings. Right. Recent. Officials. Maybe Grant's Array? No. Whole City? No. So not this. Either that or I've gotten something wrong here. Current year? No. Current events? Maybe? And the photograph. Look at this again. Red suit. Ella drew a peculiar cross-shaped badge she saw on the debauch's chest. Maybe we do need to go back to the police after all, to the police archives instead of Cordona Chronicle, because the exclamation mark is there, but, you know. I think it was like that with the last thing we checked out as well, where the police station had an exclamation mark, but then we found it in the Chronicle's archives.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Don't you have more important things to attend to?
Right.
Help me, please.
No, sir. I don't know anything about that.
That's fine.
You obviously haven't thought this all
Any
through.
progress with the case,
Or are you
Mr.
just
Holmes?
annoying
I don't
these
even
people
remember
on
what case
purpose?
you're talking about. Yeah, this doesn't look like something where we'd get info from. So it has to be in the Cordona Chronicle then, doesn't it? Or is there any other place that gives us the opportunity to find something? The City Hall, perhaps? I mean, high-ranking officials? Maybe. That over there?
I'm curious, how did Mycroft recruit you? I doubt you're a field agent. I imagine you work with intelligence.
That's correct. Your brother noticed me when I tracked down a spy at the archives. That's how our cooperation began. And you? Did Mycroft force you into this?
Not at all. We simply have a mutual interest in someone. Or something.
Of course. A fruitful and willing collaboration, I'm sure.
Well, I'm his younger brother. I have to accept the consequences of being a close relative of an official figure.
I suppose in a way we are colleagues, Mr. Holmes.
In the remotest way possible, Miss Oni.
Have you found anything helpful?
There's the archives. Maybe he's in there. Oh. Didn't quite see what she was doing down there. Officials. British. Occupation? Thomas Norton, profile. Born 1840 in London, graduated from the University of Oxford in 1864. In 1869 started working at the Home Office as a secretary. In 1875 took a position as a military commissioner in India. Honoured by the Queen herself with the Order of the Bath in 1877. 1st of March 1878 was appointed as the British envoy in Cordona with his own cabinet in the City Hall. Okay. What do we do with that? Miss Oni, do you know something about this, perhaps?
Have you found anything helpful?
Okay. Does anyone else here know something, perhaps?
Do you know anything about this?
I'm sorry, but I've never heard of that.
Deputy Chief Archivist. There's nothing back there. His own cabinet. There he is. Thomas! I've got some bad news for you. Is there anything else? No.
If you're here on matters of signing up for military service, come back tomorrow. Our department needs to straighten out some business.
Facial hair, no time to shave. Red eyes, didn't sleep last night. Order of the Bath, well worn, never removed. Rumpled clothes, stays at work late. Red stain, wine. A red wine stain on the wrist and his unshaven face indicate a lazy attitude towards his duty. The Order of the Bath looks quite worn. The man is proud of it and never takes it off. Wrinkled clothes and red eyes may mean that he didn't return home last night. Instead of work, this man would rather lose himself in depravity and alcohol, or envoy is in remorse. The red stain on his wrist indicates that he has recently drank wine. His clothes are wrinkled, he barely bothers to shave, and his red eyes indicate that he may suffer from insomnia or deep anxiety. It looks as if he lives within a nightmare, attempting to rid himself of his terrible memories of past mistakes. It feels more like this, to be perfectly honest.
Why are you staring at me like I'm a Madame Tussauds figure? Didn't you hear what I just said?
You blame yourself for what you did. Won't be any good unless you confess to me, so I'll try to be polite.
What sort of did are we talking about? Are you from the press?
I'm here because of Naylor.
Who?
You don't remember her name.
Lad, if you won't tell me why you came, I'll call for someone here to sort you out, if you get my meaning.
Hmm.
Do you recognize this man?
We definitely look alike. But you have the wrong person.
Really? Then you won't mind if I pass this along to the newspaper?
All right. All right. Is this about money, as you said in the letter? What kind of sum are we talking about?
I've never written a single word to you. Bribery, not my style.
So, that letter, it wasn't from you?
Well, it appears that more and more people in the city are finding out about your despicable hobby, doesn't it? You're in the clutches of justice, and very soon they will squeeze you. It's in your best interest to cooperate.
Fine. I suppose now we have a nice long talk. Do you drink, Mr.
Sherlock Holmes. And I do not.
Shame. All the best discussions are accompanied by a glass of whiskey. But out of respect for you, I won't drink either.
Respect? That's an unusual word in your mouth, Mr.
Where are my manners? My name is Thomas Norton, a British envoy in Cordona on a military mission. So, where do we start?
What happened at the party?
So, let's return to the beginning. What happened at the party?
I vaguely remember that night. As usual at such parties, you meet people, you talk with them, they invite you to spend some time alone with them. What can I say? I got myself mixed up with the wrong company, and somebody must have mixed some psychoactive substance in my drink. After that, it's all blurry. I completely lost my sanity. I made a terrible mistake which I regret deeply.
You don't say. Do refugee girls often appear on the menu at those types of parties?
It's rather rare.
So you didn't attend the party to engage in an exotic experience involving a vulnerable woman unable to accuse you of assault?
I would never have planned such a terrible thing. What happened was just bad circumstance.
Did you know Mercurio?
Boniface Mercurio. Does the name mean anything to you?
He's an artist, right?
The one responsible for the painting that compromises you. I found him dead in his room.
Oh, that is bad. Wait, you
That
don't
is
think that
bad.
I have anything to do with this?
You had motive to kill him.
Maybe I did, but listen. I know how this looks, but murder? That's on another level. I had thoughts that this Mercutio...
Mercurio?
Well, him, yes. I thought he could have been the blackmailer. But I was too afraid to make any hasty decisions. There were plenty of ways to fail by making a move, so I chose to wait. To see what he would do next. You have to believe me.
I don't believe people, I believe evidence.
Then look at the evidence.
You tried to steal the painting.
The painting that depicted you in the image of the devil was stolen by a mercenary. Did you have anything to do with it?
I might be a rotten person, sir, but hiring criminals for illicit purposes is not in my daily schedule.
And buying the painting in an attempt to hide the crime, is that on your daily schedule?
What would you do in my situation?
I would never put myself in such a situation.
You're young. I could never have imagined myself in my current position, yet here I am in front of you. We all make mistakes, Mr. Holmes, and I'm no exception.
You mentioned blackmail. Tell me about it.
All right. A couple of days ago, I received an anonymous letter. It said that in the art gallery at Caravansary there exists a painting that incriminates me. The blackmailer made it clear that if there is a painting, then a photograph exists too. And I should be wary of what it might do to my reputation.
What does the blackmailer want from you?
Money, of course. What else do such people want? Needless to say, I don't remember anyone taking photographs at the party. Up until the last moment, I hoped he was bluffing. But he wasn't, as you've just proven to me.
Show me the letter.
I burnt it as soon as I read it. I've left enough evidence. There's no need for any more. Mr. Holmes, I've built my entire career on hard work and uncompromising dedication to the Crown. I made a mistake, but I'm not a villain from some cheap adventure fiction. By putting me behind bars, you will benefit precisely no one.
Rotting in prison is the least you deserve, but I have a better idea. You will make amends and help the ones you hurt.
I mean, what about both? Start with the refugees, sure.
Use your connections to help patriate the refugees, find them decent homes.
That includes
give them
Naylor.
jobs. There must be a meaning to your position and my decision.
Yes, all right, I can do that. So, will you give me the photograph now?
That's not all.
Yeah, okay, there we go. We can choose both.
Naylor deserves the very utmost of what you can do.
Help the girl? I can't risk the press paying extra attention to her. I will do anything except that.
I need to think this all through. Don't do anything foolish in the meantime.
What makes you think you can decide what's best for these people?
Such is the arrogance of British imperialism. I take your point.
Alright, Mind Palace. Okay. All refugees are victims of the system. The situation they are in must and can be mended. The envoy wants to hide the proof. The envoy's interest in the photograph is pragmatic. If he obtains it, nothing will threaten his reputation. The British envoy violated Naylor, the refugee, during the party. Were the photograph of the crime to be released, it would ruin his career. Or perhaps I could use that leverage to help the refugee camp. Our options are merciless justice. The envoy can be neither trusted nor forgiven for what he did. Humiliation and ostracization, from an outraged Cordona are the least he deserves. Give the photograph to Vogel so he can make everything public. Or, smaller evil for the greater good. Thomas Norton is a debaucher who has committed a terrible act. Even though he deserves to be brought to justice, I cannot overlook the opportunity to do greater good. Give the envoy the photograph in exchange for the refugees' legalization. We're going for the second for this here. It's not a very difficult decision for me, even though I tend to go on the side of justice. It seems just like better for everyone involved, doesn't it? So, yeah, we're going with smaller evil for the greater good. Yeah. So I guess in that, we're now talking to him about this. Or is there's nothing else, is there?
Have you thought it all through?
Although, I mean, if I give him the photograph, we'll just say Sherlock made a copy of it. And it's safe in our hands still. Otherwise, he could just ruin it and be like, oh, never heard of these people?
Almost. The refugees, what will happen to them?
Well, I wouldn't be standing here in this fancy office if I didn't know how to pull the right strings. In fact, it's the only thing I know. The local governor will receive a decree signed by the House of Lords containing a request to patriate the refugees in the name of the Crown.
From where did you gain such influence?
I never asked you how you found the photograph. So don't ask the magician how he performs his tricks.
But how can I believe you?
Ugh, I presume you do believe in my selfishness. The initiator of the refugee salvation will be none other than the British envoy, savior and protector of those in need. It's a win situation for me, too. Now,
it's a fair point.
What about the photograph?
You deserve to be punished, but the greater good is what matters here. I won't bargain it for justice for Naylor.
I'm glad that this situation is over.
It will be over when you settle the matter of the refugees.
You have my word, Mr. Holmes.
It leaves a slight sour taste in my mouth, but it is the better situation, I think.
Mr. Holmes, you've returned. Have you uncovered anything new about the theft?
Why do these cutscenes make him seem so
news,
evil?
But not all of it will please you.
Fill me in, Mr. Holmes. I won't shoot the messenger.
Well, everyone's dead.
I tracked down Boniface Mercurio.
I presume he wasn't delighted about the situation.
Well,
he was not having a good day on account of his murder. Killed in his own flat by the same person that stole his painting.
Oh, sweet Mercurio. perishing in the pursuit of his art. How apt. I will miss his exceptional sense of humor.
And the thief's also dead.
I located the thief, but found him rather cold. He was tight-lipped about the painting, too.
Huh, he's dead. How very droll, Mr. Holmes. One presumes you were not responsible.
It was an accident at the refugee camp. He impaled himself on his own knife.
Life is nothing if not cruel and capricious. What about the stolen painting? Have you located it?
Unfortunately, I could not locate the missing painting.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, such disappointing news. Not even a shred of information? The slightest lead?
I'm afraid the case has gone cold.
I suppose if you were unable to find it, no one else could. What a pity. Oh, but I can tell. You learned something else, didn't you? What happened to your crusade of truth? Was it not that important, after all?
No truth will satisfy you, Mr. Vogel.
It was not an attack, Mr. Holmes. If you've chosen not to tell me, I respect your intention. But it is just rather boring, isn't it?
It is what it is.
Well, now that we've resolved all of our outstanding matters, I have a gift for you. I took the liberty of having it delivered to Stonewood Manor. I am told it belonged to your mother.
What is it?
And what exactly have you sent me?
Frankly, I'm not sure how to answer that. I trust you'll know.
About my mother.
Previously you mentioned there may have been more to my mother's passing than consumption. It appears you were right.
Oh dear. I'd hoped to be wrong.
She was unstable, mentally unwell. She required sustained specialized treatment, but her madness persisted.
I knew that Violet had disappeared from the public eye, but had no idea of her suffering. I cannot imagine what you're feeling.
I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. I am curious to see what you have procured.
Alright. Another 80 money. And we're going back to Stonewood Manor. Although, I'd like to take one more quick, at least look around the map to see if there's any more furniture traders, and there is one down there. There's also one here. That is it. So we'll go to... I'll go to this one first. Sure, why not? Up that way. And we'll buy another couple of things while we have the money.
Extra, extra! Frosty reception for refugees. The British envoy's decision to grant citizenship to the refugees and release them from their camp.
Interested in some Cordona news?
I'll buy them, sure.
Check the front page. You won't regret it.
Frosty reception for refugees. The British envoy's sudden decision to grant citizenship to dozens of refugees seems to have received a cold reception from the public. Interviews with multiple civilians saw common motifs: a fear of increased crime, a dilution of Cordona's culture, and a uniform insistence that these concerns have no racial undercurrent. Of course. The recent discovery of a dead man inside the refugee camp has heightened tensions, though police have been slow to investigate. A spokesman for the department suggested there may have been a quarrel between the victim and members of the camp, but officers have not yet identified a suspect. Cordona's newest citizens may find themselves with few allies as they join the city. As one councillor who declined to be named put it, if those people wish to be welcomed with open arms, they should not have jumped the queue. Okay. Have you got rest to buy?
Refresh your interior. Pick what you like.
Yeah, I'll pick what I like, sure.
My goods will brighten up
money?
your house.
A dressing table. Witness firsthand the
Enjoy your
existential
purchase.
horror of aging. And down here, there's one more. Right around here.
You'll never find such magnificent paintings anywhere else. Just take a look. My goods will brighten up your house.
3 paintings: Violet's portrait, a sketch of a boy, old drawing of a young friend. It's like he's really there. And Cordona landscape. Just like outside, but without all the murder.
Enjoy your purchase.
Alright. So 2 evidence updated. Package from Vogel. Ah, yeah, these. What will it help me remember? Okay. Let's go back to Stonewood Manor. Let's at least see what the package was.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I presume?
Yeah.
Correct. With whom do I have the pleasure?
Emilio Esteva. Happy to make your acquaintance. I am here on behalf of Mycroft, your brother. He's on his way to Cordona. In the meantime, he requests your assistance with a sensitive matter. My orders are to provide you with the details.
I'm listening.
You have my attention, Mr. Esteva.
Mark Ridley, the son of General Arthur Ridley, is being blackmailed. Suffice to say, the compromising material is of a delicate nature. The matter is of no small importance to the Crown, especially given the status quo on Cordona.
Status quo?
What about the status quo?
The Ottoman population holds a certain animosity towards the colonial rule. It's been this way since we took over the island. General Ridley made concessions with their leaders, but I'm afraid we are still teetering on the edge of open hostility.
What does Mycroft want me to do? Retrieve the blackmail material?
No, sir, nothing of the sort. Mark Ridley is meeting the blackmailer atop the old city bridge tower. You shall observe from a distance, then establish the blackmailer's identity. Do not attempt to arrest him. We'll handle it from there.
Saving the best for yourself? Fine.
There is a cafe just over the bridge that provides a good vantage point. Please report to me when you are done. I'll be waiting for you here, and remember, discretion is of the essence.
Of course. We'll handle that, no problems. What is this, first of all? It's a siren.
It's a bizarre object, and yet oddly familiar.
Did you just remember something?
Yes. A room full of curiosities and artifacts. I think I can find it in the manor.
Sherlock. So, you continue to pursue the imaginary. I had hoped you might have got all this out of your system by now.
Mycroft, what are you doing here? Get out of my house.
It's my house, actually. I've come to bring you back.
I have no interest in returning, let alone with you. I know you lied about Mother all these years, claiming she was merely ill, but she was unstable. She never had tuberculosis. She was not recuperating, but mentally deteriorating, and you never once thought to tell me. How dare you?
I shall not indulge this petulant tantrum. You can just tire yourself out and then slink back to London with your tail between your legs.
Just tell me everything. I'm an adult now. Show me the basic courtesy of an explanation. You know I will find out eventually.
The goal was stability, and that's what you got. The right thing for everyone was to try and move on from her passing.
The consequences of one's actions determines what is right or wrong.
Yes, exactly. The ends justify the means. After leaving Cordona, Sherlock, you had a normal childhood. In London, I was able to support you, guide you, shape you into a fine and productive young man. You have so much potential, so much to offer society.
But that's not the end. Now I found the truth, and it has shattered everything I knew about her, about you, and about myself. I feel unstable because of you. Your actions were not justified. Lying never is.
Oh, grow up, Sherlock. It was a white lie which has as much use in the realm of the interpersonal as the international. It is time you come to accept that some things are bigger than yourself.
Oh, you are full of it. You like to pretend you care about the big picture, but it's just an ego trip. You like knowing more than others. You like greasing palms and rubbing shoulders with the rich and powerful. You like having eyes and ears everywhere. The fact it helps the nation is incidental. Because all you care about is yourself.
It's true. I have agents everywhere, including Cordona. If you weren't so damn stubborn, you'd realize that means I'm only here for you.
Alright. A lot of new angles to explore now. But we'll get to that in the next episode. For now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.